Welcome to the Bladtcast. Very exciting because, it's not really once a year. It's about twice a year that we get together with our Bladtcast Baseball Brain Trust. As always, I'm Christian Blatt. Welcome to the Bladtcast, the 2021 MLB Playoff Preview. As always, joined by D. Weiss Comedy, David Weiss.
Sup, America.
If you're not watching the video version, you missed me pointing in the wrong direction. But and of course, our mistress of Balk, the one, the only Melissa Weinstein. Melissa,
hello.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Now, I think that our abbreviated 2020 season playoff picks didn't go well for anybody except me. I believe I did have the correct World Series champion in the Los Angeles Dodgers. And I was pretty far along with some wagers that David was quite kind enough to place for me in Las Vegas, but ultimately did not. If the Astros had won, that's where my money would have been. But those were not my official picks. Those were just my degenerate gambler picks.
Right, but you have an official pick that's working for this season.
I do. Yeah,
that's right.
I got some. We'll get to that. Yeah, we'll get to that later. We definitely got some good odds on that. Melissa, I'm going to assume that there may be some. Do you have any Bach-related reflection on 2020 before we dive into 2021? I don't want to steal your Bach thunder.
Well, turns out okay, there we go. They were interesting. The totals obviously were not as high as previous seasons, but that's just
of course not
based on number of games. But the loose statistics that I've made up still hold for first place teams having the fewest number of balks and last place.
Where did the Dodgers rank in balks in the regular season in 2020? And again, it's a 60-game season. It's a smaller sample thing.
Yeah.
In the regular season, the Dodgers did not at all.
They did not balk at all. So
yes, but they had two in the playoffs.
Okay.
And you think that that's why they won in the playoffs was the two balks?
I don't think it's appropriate for me to tell you why I think they won.
Did you think they cheated? Did you think that they were Houston Astros in disguise? Is that what you think?
Sure.
Interesting.
Melissa's working on something.
I know there's something that is it something that you'll share with us later, or is it something you just don't want to share with us?
I'll share it. And this makes me feel like a horrible person because I feel like I should be kind and loving. But when it comes to the Dodgers, I can't be. I refuse to be. I have never had a good experience at Dodger Stadium. I feel
we had one good experience. We just didn't let ourselves celebrate until we left.
But how is that a good experience if you have to hide who you are?
Yeah, no, Melissa has an excellent point. Every time when we go to a Dodger Met game, I am not comfortable decking myself out in Mets gear.
Well,
the best experience I've had at a game was when I met you guys, because that was the only game I've been to where I've had a positive experience and I didn't end up crying in the bathroom alone.
Well, that makes one of us who didn't cry in the bathroom alone at that game. It had nothing to do with the game itself, and you can, that's really kind of you to say, but I think it's sort of subjective as to whether or not that was a positive experience meeting us at the ballpark. If there's anything that was going to drive you to cry, it's probably that. But look, we were at
highlighters or something.
Yeah, you might have made a joke about the highlighters, but it was really just highlighter envy because of the meticulous job Melissa does keeping score. And also, but the game I'm referring to is in 2015. We were at Game 5 of the NLDS. Melissa kind of talked me into spending, what seemed for a moment like too much money, and then I dropped a ridiculous amount of money to go to the World Series, so it really wasn't that much money. But we saw the Mets advance past those Dodgers. That was a good game. And in 2006, I went to all 3 NLDS games between the Mets and Dodgers, the 2 at Shea Stadium, and then the only game, because it was a sweep, the only game at Dodger Stadium. I had a ticket to the 4th game, but when it really didn't matter. I didn't need that ticket. I got my money back. Anyway, but so I feel like I know where you're going with why the Dodgers won, and there's a karmic transfer that I feel like you're hesitant to reflect.
And I
upon.
think clearly, as I'm explaining this, I'm doing the exact opposite. But I think when it comes to anything in life, even sports, the attitude your lowest level people, in this case the fans, have is a direct representation of the highest level people. And while the highest level people may be the ownership, the highest level people to the majority of fans are the people they see on the field. And how you carry yourself on the field and how you treat fans and other players is a direct representation of how your fans are going to treat other fans. And I mean, I don't know. Some gentle ribbing is fun every now and then, but when you say some really horrible things to people, it's unacceptable, and it makes experiencing Dodger Stadium, Dodger fans, Dodger games.
Well, I'll tell you the thing that I learned early on about Dodger Stadium. It's fine to root for the other team, provided you spend a little bit of money on your tickets and you don't sit in the cheap seats. Down on the field level, there ain't nobody who cares. You go up in the loge. There's people care a little bit, but not that much. So I think that's what I found. And Larry with a question in the chat. The Endy Chavez catch game. I was not at that game. I actually had tickets, but I didn't go back to New York for the NLCS. I had a World Series ticket for 2006 that I would have traveled back for.
I was at the game before that. I was at Game 6.
Yeah, I had a ticket to that game, and my friend Molly used the ticket to that game, so she did see that game, but I did not go. Yeah, well, so she got to at least see the catch, but then also she had to suffer through that game. So the end result of that game. But anyway, so I'm wondering if you think that the World Series coming right before the passing of Tommy Lasorda, does that factor in any way? Do you think that that's why they won, and there was they let old Tommy have one more before he went to the big blue heaven, as it were?
I think that it gives you an internal drive. I don't think it's a direct correlation with winning or losing, but I can certainly
there's an alternate theory to that, which is that they won after he died, so maybe he was a jinx.
What?
I thought he died after the World Series, though.
Can you elaborate on this?
Yeah. Dominicus Saxon with this comment. Last time I had a foam finger waved at me was, you know what? Never mind. So thank you, Dominicus Saxon. We appreciate you being in there. All right. So I think that we've effectively closed the books on 2020, and we are on the verge of a regular 162 game season. One that the National League will not have the DH, but unless I'm mistaken, do they still have that stupid automatic runner on second base rule for extra innings? Is that's still in place for this year, but then the DH isn't? Somebody correct me if I'm wrong.
I think you're right, but I mean, I hate this one from column A, one from column B.
Yeah, I have long been someone who opposes the DH. I don't like it, but then we had it last year, and I'm like, all right, we'll just have it again this year, and then we'll see about after this if they, it's inevitable because it'll be a part of a collective bargaining agreement because of the amount of the amount of jobs it creates for DHs.
Why? I mean, this may be a question that no one has the answer to, which is that why not have it? I am not a DH fan forever. I mean, I hate DH, but why not have it if they have
there
it?
There is no DH in the NL this year.
No, there isn't.
Oh, there isn't. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There isn't, but I think that there's that automatic runner on second base.
Right.
And our friend Daniel Beck, our diehard Dodger fan, congratulations on your championship last year, checking in from Japan. So we always appreciate when the time difference allows for us. I just wanted to tidy up an earlier comment. Larry says, Philly fan here. My experience has been that cheap seat in all cities have terrible fans. I think that that's accurate. My city has been unfairly maligned because of the Santa incident from 50 years ago.
Your city booed Joe Morgan too. I mean, come on.
Yeah, but and by Joe Morgan you mean they booed Santa Claus. Joe Morgan was essentially Santa Claus. So I think that depending on where you were, but I've been in I was in the bleachers at Yankee Stadium once at a game against the Mariners, and Ichiro took his spot out in the outfield, and this drunk dude just gives him the double middle fingers, and he was instantly tossed from the ballpark.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, this is 20 years ago. And I'm like, oh, okay. So this is a different group of bleacher creatures than I was led to believe, because
the whole row would buy him a beer if you did that.
Yeah, exactly. Or at least Steinbrenner would have,
And I feel like my experience is often quite different from yours. Regardless of where I sit, I am, and I wouldn't say all the time, but quite consistently targeted, because how in the world could a female know anything about baseball? I must only be there to impress a man.
Well, that's honestly what David said when we saw you. So I didn't realize you had heard him.
I don't believe that for a second.
Yes, that is.
I was impressed.
No, we were both impressed. We were like, look at that. Yeah. Daniel, with some clarification, the reason there's no DH is because the owners want to force the MLBPA to accept extended playoffs, so it's a bargaining chip. That actually makes perfect sense.
Makes sense. Thank you, DB.
Yeah.
So the other consistency,
and also Larry wants to know how many times has Melissa been asked to explain the infield fly rule, which is probably off. I might ask you later in this show to try and explain it to me finally.
That's going to be a bad idea.
Abner Doubleday couldn't explain the infield fly rule.
Yeah.
It's a ridiculous rule.
It is a ridiculous rule.
Speaking of other ridiculous rules, doubleheaders this year will still be 7 innings.
That's another dumb rule.
And
it's a dumb rule unless I end up attending one, and then I'll be glad that they're only 7 innings.
No, see, I would love more of that, like more innings. Sure. I love extra inning games. It's
me too.
Yeah, I know. I agree.
On the other hand, would prefer a 2-inning game every time.
My wife sat through an 18-inning game at Petco Park with me once, and
she's a saint.
A saint, a keeper.
There was a 14th inning stretch, by the way, in case you were wondering. But if you just
off beer sales,
because that you don't know that you're going to extras when you cut off beer sales, and
they should have opened them up again in the
as well.
Like 9. They should open them up at 12, and then at 15.
Yeah, I think that the decision should have been to open up beer sales, but not hard liquor sales. You can still, or maybe just sell light beer.
Well, that's all they sell at the stadium anyway.
Yeah, that's true. All right. So for those who don't know, and for those that aren't watching the visual version, you'll at least see the color scheme for Melissa and I. And Sal has the black shirt just to match the blackness of his heart.
Look,
but he's got an orange cup.
I have that in blue.
And of course, I have one of my favorite cups here from 2009, which I let you share when you come over for lunch. But this cup is so old; it's when Citi Field still served Pepsi. So that's how old it is.
The Pepsi became the Coca-Cola corner.
That's right. So we're all the three of us are all Mets fans, and that's something that we bonded over. And I am always cautiously optimistic in the seasons when I can be optimistic. There are many seasons where I'm just disgusted. I'm letting myself be excited about this season. I like the additions. I like owner Steve Cohen, I like what I've seen in the bits of spring training that I've caught. And I just want poor Gary Cohen to be allowed back in the studio with Keith and Ron. The fact that they still have them distanced, and that he's in a separate studio.
Yeah.
It's like at some point you got to let the man sit with his brothers. You got to keep the family together.
Let's see. You have to hypothesize which one of those three do they not trust enough to wear a mask and socially distance that they're all separated because of that one person. Have you thought about it? I have my predictions.
Really?
Really?
Is this going to be part of who wins the World Series, Melissa? Like who's not wearing a mask?
This has gotten way more complicated, and that's not part of it.
Okay.
But I wanted to give each of you the opportunity to talk about the excitement. Francisco Lindor, by all indications, one, obviously on paper, a great player, also seems to be a great clubhouse guy, a great teammate. Everybody loves him. And I'm excited for any off season where they do anything. And then I think that this was the first good off season in quite some time, because the most important transaction was the new ownership. Getting rid of the Wilpon family, I think, is very important for the team going forward. I think the subsequent moves indicated that the true test will be at the trade deadline, where the Mets very often didn't do anything, and when they did do something, it often wasn't very good. We got Chris Benson and Victor Sembrano. Great. Thanks for that. But let's go ladies first. Sal, your thoughts on Melissa, your excitement for the Metsies this year.
I think it's the same as it is every year. I'm just excited to watch games. I'm not particularly hopeful of, a winning season or expecting a losing season. I enjoy watching the games. I enjoy watching players grow, and as always, listening to Keith say ridiculous things. But all of that to me is what makes baseball so enjoyable, like all of those things individually. So obviously I would love a winning season. And while it does look good, I'm not going to bank on it. First year of new ownership, you really can't expect a complete turnabout.
Well, like you like Keith Hernandez so much because, like Keith, you're a proponent of good fundies. And I think
fundies.
That,
just the word fundies is beautiful.
Yes. And this year, I think that Keith is going to have the non-fungible fundies night. So keep an eye out for that, and make sure that you participate if you live in the New York area. Sal, you've had many a good Mets season to be excited for, and many more bad ones. Your thoughts as you look ahead to 2021?
I'm a little bit more optimistic than Ms. Weinstein. I like what I've seen from Pete Alonso in spring training. His balance is back, and he is not trying to pull everything. He's driving balls to the right center field gap, and that may be because he has some protection behind him now with Dom. But I think he's going to get a lot of fastballs this year, and he's going to drive them into the night, as they say. So I'm looking for a big offensive year from the Mets. I'm less confident about the pitching staff after DeGrom. I am not a huge Marcus Stroman fan. Taijuan Walker is probably a 500 pitcher. I like what I've seen of Lucchesi, but he's never been a regular starter in the big league. So,
well, yeah, I think that that's often the question, and Syndergaard could pitch at some point this year, but you never know after surgery. So we'll see how that goes. It's maybe you have him down the stretch, but you can't count on it. And I think that they've got to keep close enough for their very wealthy owner to open up the checkbook at the trading deadline, and we'll see where that goes.
Who do you think would be available at the trading deadline that might be of help to them? I've noticed that there are 5 or 6 top-line shortstops that are available, but that position is filled. Lindor is somebody that would be available should he not sign with the Mets? I mean, is there a scenario that they deal him because they don't want him to be a rental?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that's entirely possible. That Daniel was asking online what we think about extending a contract, and I think Lindor is look, he's about to play his play this year with the Mets. Sure, he's been in spring training. I don't think he knows exactly what it's going to be. I think he wants to keep his options open. I think ultimately he does not take a deal, and he'll play the season and figure it out. So if they're in a situation where they can deal him, look, and especially if they're not competitive, but I don't think that that's the case. I think that they will have a good year, and I don't. Daniel also felt that Melissa gave the most Mets take ever in terms of I don't let myself get excited. I just watch the games. So I guess that I don't know. Do either of you feel like Lindor is likely to be extended in this window before the season starts? I don't think so. Melissa is shaking her head no.
I don't think so.
I think it's going to happen. But
okay, so wait, Melissa, you go first. You don't think so?
I don't think so, but I don't think it has anything to do with willingness to accept a certain monetary amount or anything like that. I think that it's a mixture between him and ownership, and I think it's knowing the history of how this works for other players and other teams. And spring training, while very slightly indicative, is not a good basis for how your performance is going to be in the regular season. And I think they know that, and they also know how the team dynamics are going to change between spring training and regular season, and just between Florida and New York. And I think a smart player and smart ownership are not going to tie them down to anyone who has the potential in the next even 5 years to become, a different player and also a different person, like a Matt Harvey situation.
Sure.
Yeah. So I think that they're going to hold off, not because they're worried about his abilities and not because he's worried about the team, but just because they're smart and they want to keep their options open.
Well, I think I think it's more Lindor keeping his options open. We're essentially on the same page. But Sal, you feel as though they are going to get a deal done.
Yeah, I think that from what I read this morning, they're closer than they appear. The average annual value of the contract, they're agreed on that. Where there is disagreement right now is Lindor, I believe, wants a longer term than the Mets have offered. But hey there, Laszlo. But Melissa's dog, by the way, everybody, Laszlo, is checking in with us. And I think the deal is going to get done. I really do. I think that Steve Cohen is committed to the long-term future success of the team. And I think Lindor wants to be there. So,
but I think that he's committed to the future ownership of the team, but he's also one of the more realistic owners in recent memories.
When you say realistic, what do you mean by that?
I think he understands that things happen off the field, that as much as you want to control them, you can't.
Sure.
I mean,
give me an example.
I don't know, Cespedes falling off a horse.
So
it's like, I think that's
peculiar to Cespedes. I don't think Francisco Lindor has a history of weird off the field activity.
That's true, but you don't know. And also,
Jeff Kent had that injury, like washing his truck. I mean, you hear about a lot. There's a lot of that stuff like that.
The guy who fell in the shower, like these are things you can't predict.
Opening a tomato can.
And I think it was that 2006 season. The Dodgers had a relief pitcher who punched a fan and cut his finger and couldn't pitch. So it's like you have a lot. Sure, you have all that stuff.
Did you say it was the Dodgers?
I believe so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that I remember that correctly. It's going back almost 15 years. So
no, I think he's realistic about what you can expect from a human being who performs baseball as a career. Like
Yeah.
we keep looking at these players like they're invincible, like that they can do whatever they want and not get injured, but also that whatever they do is fine. And
Yeah.
even if you just look with the, I don't even remember his name because that's how much he means to me, but firing the guy with the sexual harassment claims.
Sure.
Like,
Yeah.
like take no,
Porter.
what? Oh yeah.
Rob
Yeah.
Porter.
Take no shit from these people. Like, and I think that's going to extend down to the players from ownership as well. And
that's a good thing.
Correct.
All right.
But I think that because of
ahead.
that, it's going to change the dynamic.
Okay.
Well, let's actually dive into these divisions because we're talking so much about the NYMETs, the New York Metropolitans. Let's start with the National League East, and then we'll move on to all the divisions that we don't care that much about. But I, unlike Melissa, I will be picking the New York Mets to win the NL East and the hot Atlanta Braves to finish second, and then some varying degrees of disappointment amongst the other teams, except for the Marlins, who I think will thrive in a setting where their stadium is limited to only 10,000 people in the stands because they usually only draw 5,000. So I think it's actually going to be a banner year for the Miami Marlins, and we will see from there. But that's my 1-2 pick for that division. Sal, where are you leaning for the National League East?
I am flopping those picks, Christian. I like the Braves to win it, as much as I hate to admit that. But they've got a stacked lineup. They really do. And they've added some pitching.
Yeah.
And I believe the Mets are going to finish second in that division. And I hope they make the playoffs, but I mean, we'll get to it. But there are other teams that have also really stacked up, like the Padres.
Yes, who I have finishing in a similar situation to the Braves, and I believe the Padres and Braves will see each other at some point.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, the Mets could win 90 games and not make the playoffs, and that would suck.
Yeah, and Sal, you did not disappoint Daniel. I'm the only one picking the Mets, and there are years where I have not picked the Mets. I don't know which ones they are, but I don't usually pick them. But I felt good about it this year. I may have last year because it was a short season, and I
picked last year.
Yeah, and I'm like, well, everybody's going to make the playoffs. Oh wait, no, everybody's going to make the playoffs except the Mets last year.
Yeah,
and just about that division, Larry, if you're not watching the video version, by the way, Larry has a great emoji of him with the Philly Fanatic, and he says last year if the Phillies had a merely bad bullpen instead of the worst bullpen in 90 years, they would have won the division by 3-4 games. Yeah, I think that I can relate to that, and you can certainly see the importance of not just a closer but also middle relief. So. And Daniel's got the Mets in the East. So
what?
Well, I mean, it's not his division. But to your point, Sal, you like the Braves despite the fact that you hate the Braves, but you like what they've got. So, Melissa, it seemed like you were not leaning towards the Mets. And what do you have atop the NL East?
The Marlins.
Is this going to be because of Box?
No. I was thinking they were going to be the Box, and then I saw the tweets from Daniel earlier, and I was like, I have to change how I calculate winners. And I have created the most useless statistic, and I am ready to share it with you.
I hope it's men left on base after the 7th inning or something like that. Tell us what is what's your new metric?
Okay. It is the amount of sack bunts by the team plus the amount of sack flies by the team, and all of that, because it's in parentheses for my math nerds out there, divided by total number of walks.
And for our visual listeners,
Daniel.
Daniel's got a triple laugh emoji here.
But wait, I took it a step further. Last year, the division winners, that
Wait, Melissa,
metric that I just gave you.
Something in my ear. Bill James called. He wants his bullshit stats back.
Okay, bye.
No. So talk about what the division winners. Does this apply to last year's division winners?
Yes.
And look, obviously I'm not a member of the tribe, but I feel like I can borrow the phrase that this is a real fakakta theory of yours. But anyway, go ahead.
How dare you assume that I have not thought this out and carefully
Oh no, I know you have. I know you have.
That's what's great about it. You didn't come up with this 2 seconds before we went to air.
No, it was 2 hours before.
2 hours? No, you spent the year. I'll give you the year.
Because I was thinking, box is so dependent on a pitcher.
Yes.
We need to have some batting statistics in there. So I picked 2 things that don't matter, like box.
Okay.
Made them matter. So what I did after I calculated it with the sack bunts plus sack flies divided by the box, I looked at.
It needs a name.
I am open to suggestions.
Okay, like you know what I'm saying, like OPS. Yeah. It needs a name. Like
if you're watching live, give us a comment, or you can tweet us at Bladtcast BLATTCAST.
Why don't we just call it the Melissa average?
Melissa is such a common name. I will not accept that.
Okay, Laszlo's.
The Laszlo.
Oh, my little baby.
Like
Laszlo is
passed. All right. So I want you to explain how your theory applies to this first division that we're covering, the National League East.
So I compared it to last year and determined that, you're going to laugh, but the first place team totaled somewhere in between above 3.5 for that calculation or below 19, which I understand seems like a big range, but if you look at all of them, there are quite a few that are outside, and the number obviously varies based on division because of the teams and numbers, because it's math. So I calculated it for this year just based on the spring training numbers. So number of box, sack bunts, and sack flies that have taken place in spring training. And based on that, in the NL East, 3 teams calculated as 1, which means there would be a 3-way tie for first, which we cannot have because this is math. But that tie would be the Braves, Phillies, and Marlins. But then I took, to do the tiebreaker, I did their 2021 totals and divided it by, what is that number? Their 2020 totals. And the team with the number closest to 3.5, which was the low end of the threshold based on the 2020 season, is my winner. And the Marlins had a 4.
Did you do this for the Oscars?
Ew, no. Why would I waste my time on that?
Wow, there could be money involved. Uvula Scrimshaw says sack bunts plus sack flies divided by box is the Melissa Wine Index.
I'll take it. And also,
that is your Twitter name.
I am so pleased with the proper use of parentheses. The little math nerd in me loves it.
Yeah, and Dominicus Saxon makes the point. I thought we were talking about ribs. Yeah, why don't we focus it on ribs? That's a great point.
I was just going to say that.
So Melissa with the Miami Marlins, aka the then you can
go for ribs all you want.
Yeah, well, we can get you some ribs during the season. We'll find time. We could go to Dr. Hoggly Woggly. We could go to Mom's house. We could get the fried ribs at Mom's house in Van Nuys. So there's no shortage.
It's so good there,
right?
So
we
good.
love that place. It's the best advertising I've ever seen on a bus stop ad is Mom's house, and they do not. Mom's house does not disappoint. In any case, let's move it along to the National League West. I don't know what the time difference is in Japan, but just in case Daniel needs to go to bed sometime soon,
What?
Melissa, you were saying you've had Mom's House in Van Nuys, right?
We did take out a couple months ago.
Yeah, it's I literally saw an ad for it at a bus stop. We were at a red light, and it did not disappoint.
I don't remember what I got, but it was delicious.
We'll send them this clip and see if it can get us a free order of collard greens or something, because that's all I need.
Yeah, I got another loyalty card.
You already filled up your loyalty card?
No, I have to get another punch on my loyalty card. I only have
another
one.
Punch. And Daniel points out it's 6:35 a.m. in Japan right now. So good morning. Thanks for rising and shining with us. So you're going to have to start the whole day. So the National League West, I will again pick the Los Angeles Dodgers like I do every year for this division, because there is no reason to pick anyone else. I know that there's some Padre love in one of the rectangles here. I have them finishing second, not a particularly close second, but a good enough for being the other recipient of the wild card game against the hot Atlanta Braves. And we'll talk about the NL Central, but there's always a little bit of like, why? But we will talk about the NL Central. Look, I think that the Dodgers didn't get worse in the offseason. I think that the amount of that contract for Trevor Bauer is insane for a guy who had the one good short season and some decent seasons. But because of the opt-out, it's $80 million for 2 years. Dodgers have that kind of money because if you take a look, they're having fans in the stadium for opening day. The top deck is selling for $85 a ticket. So the Dodgers can throw their money around if they want to. For the top deck. Yeah. Not, that's the top deck, not the upper level. It's that. That's $85. Yeah. A comparable seat at Angel Stadium is $16. So I think I know if I'm going to go to a game, I know where I'm going to go. But by the Mets are going to play the Dodgers in August, and I think by then that they'll be selling a lot more seats, and they're going to have to lower that $85 price tag.
What, to 80 with my $25
$79.99.
But you can't get out of Dodger Stadium for two people for less than about $250. And plus, we're going to be stuck in traffic. So,
but you know what? The traffic might be, the capacity will be limited. And Larry says the Dodgers are still legit scary.
Absolutely.
Daniel points out I'm not really going out on a limb here with the Dodgers.
When he says scary, does he mean like, oh, they're so good, they're scary, or like they exist?
They are good. I've been watching.
Oh no, I think scary like they're.
Oh no.
All right. Well, we'll get to that in a moment. But I think that it's a notoriously weak division. There's a lot to beat up on. The Giants and the Rockies, and the Rockies,
I think that away their best player.
Yeah, right, exactly. So the Rockies are nowhere near what they were. So it's not much of a hot take. But I'm going to ask Sal your thoughts on the NL West.
I believe the Dodgers are going to win it comfortably, as you said. The Padres are going to be a very strong second. They have a lot of great players, and they've added a lot of good players. I am not wholly confident in Hugh Darvish as the number one starter.
No one should be. No one should be.
Sheriff. Getting shelled in spring training. So, and San Diego always has an inferiority complex to Los Angeles, and it's well deserved. You ever been to San Diego? It's nice, but
I love San Diego. Yeah, it's a wonderful place to visit. But it's
the kids.
Yeah, but regardless of the pitching matchup, a Padres game is always like the 8th best thing you can do on a night there. There's always way more appealing things for people there. So Melissa, are you picking your Padres to win that division? And if so, is it going to be part of the Melissa Weinstein indexed, or what are your thoughts on this division?
I think the Padres will be a close second to the Giants. Sorry.
Okay, now look, I know you've had like a stressful year, planning and unplanning and replanning a wedding, and
You are married, right? You're not living in sin.
Yes, we are married. We just didn't have a wedding.
Right. Yeah, which that's the best way to do it.
That is the best way to do it. Although Christian's wedding was a lot of fun.
Thank you for saying.
Well,
so
mud wrestling at a wedding, but he pulled it off.
Hey, it's I wanted to do Jello wrestling, but that was the
that would have been low class.
Yeah, well, but we had
wrestling is good. Jello, it would have. It's a whole different animal.
It would have distracted from the fact that we were serving Jello for the dessert course. All right, so Melissa, this pick of the Giants to win the NL West, which again resulted in the 3 laugh emojis from Daniel Beck, who, by the way, also said the Rockies will lose 100+ games. I don't doubt it.
Ooh, I don't doubt it.
Yeah. But what is it based on? Your interpretation. You're reading the Lucille, that's their mascot, the Lucille tea leaves. What leads you to the Giants?
My Melissa Wine index has calculated a 4-way tie. So we tiebreaker calculated it, and the Giants are in a strong first with the Dodgers in 4th. So
name a Giants pitcher. Too late.
Yeah.
Does Tim Lincecum still play?
No.
No, he does not. No.
I don't think I've watched a Giants game in years.
I do think Buster Posey is still on their roster, though.
Well, is he though?
Because
he opted. Well, first, he's not a pitcher, but he opted out last year. Is he back this year?
Yeah, I think he is back this year,
okay.
but I could be wrong. I'm not. And so wait. So part of there's this 4-way tie. So the D-backs are not part of the tie. Is that what happened? It's everybody else in the division.
Correct, because they only have. Oh, here's math. Okay, they have the lowest combined number of sack bunts and sack flies. So that amount divided by the box puts them lower than all the other ones. And all the other ones.
You're talking about the D-backs now, right?
Oh, no, they are tied. My bad. I forgot that 4 is above 3.5.
Yes. And Daniel confirms. Oh, wait, that's not the one. Daniel confirms that Buster Posey is back.
Oh,
so
good.
Thank you, Daniel. All right. Well, I think that it's an interesting choice. I can say that is not how that division will play out before even one pitch is thrown. If you'd rooted for your Padres, I would have at least understood where you were coming from.
I said second place.
I know. And so then let's take a moment and talk about the NL Central. I am usually blindsided. Sometimes blind with rage when it comes to this division. But let me ask you first, Sal.
Yes.
David, what do you see for the NL Central this year?
Well, I think I see the Cardinals. They could use another frontline starter, which maybe they'll pick up at the All-Star break, or the trading deadline, should they need one. But I think the combination of Arenado and Goldschmidt is going to hit a lot of doubles and home runs and look for a lot of slugging during the long, hot summer in St. Louis.
Yeah, so I think what you're trying to say is that they're going to be hitting a lot of dongs in St. Louis. I think that's what you were trying to not say. And I it's like it depends on the year as to who I have more white hot hatred for, the Cardinals or the Cubs. And the Cubs, once they won the World Series, it was kind of over. Seeing a Cubs game is at least more fun than going to a Cardinals game. But I'm with you on the Cardinals for the additions that you're talking about. And again, another weak division. I mean, there are some teams to beat up on in there. I do think that the Brewers are actually, they have been much better of late. I just don't see them winning the division. They're somebody that I could see having a dark horse run that, and snatching a wild card berth away from
Yelich could have another MVP season and they could not make the playoffs.
Right, exactly. What about you, Melissa, for the NL Central?
I wish that my statistic was different, but it tells me that the Reds are going to win, and I have to go with it. I can't ignore my own statistic.
Melissa, I think your statistics are weird, but I admire your commitment to them.
I do. Yeah, I was going to say I do love your dedication to them. And Larry's trash division. F the Cards forever. Yeah, I mean, I think sounds like Larry's still a little upset about Scott Rowland, but I get it. I hear you. You're not gonna. You will never hear me say anything disparaging someone's hatred for the Cardinals. All right, so the Reds. Joey Votto still on that team?
Yes, he is.
Yeah. Who knows? Well,
I love the way that Melissa takes the most obscure things and turns them into a frontline stat, but yet their best player, I don't know.
But is he still their best player, or is he just their best known player?
Name another Red.
Marge Schott.
Well, there you go.
All right. So, sorry. Are there Daniel with another hot take for losses? Pirates will lose 110 plus.
Wow.
But they have such a pretty ballpark. I got no hate for the Buccos, but they're not a good
Todd
team.
Frazier signed a minor league deal with them today. So,
all right, that's fair.
He has cute kids on Instagram. He posts a lot of real cute stories about his kids.
Well, obviously he's going to be MVP then. So
no, that's not a statistic.
I'm sorry. That was just crazy talk from me. All right, so tell us, what do you need to tell us about the Reds? What is the Melissa Wine Index for the Reds? Is it Skyline divided by chili?
Well, they were tied.
Shredded cheese and onions.
Oh,
they were tied with.
Yeah, we have cans of Skyline chili in the house. Yeah, I love it.
It's like tomato soup.
Tomato soup is delicious.
First of all, I love tomato soup.
Tomato soup is delicious, but chili that tastes like tomato soup when it's supposed to be chili.
No, it's very sweet. Skyline chili. I love Skyline chili.
Chili we can get good here. We can go to Chili John's. If Christian doesn't like it, it upsets his sensitive stomach. So.
No, that's why somebody can't go to Gus's Fried Chicken anymore. So if we're
hey, we're talking about you.
Yeah, I can still go to Gus's Fried Chicken anytime I want, and they gave me free pie the last time I went. Anyway, Melissa.
Yeah.
So what do you want to say about chili or the Reds? Either one.
Well, based on the Melissa Wine Index, the Reds and the Cardinals would be tied to win the division. But with the tiebreaker, it is very clearly the Reds. The tiebreaker puts them at a 3.9, whereas the Cardinals would be at a 0.56. Just miserable.
Look, you're not getting these kind of stats anywhere else. And yes, you have the scrimshaw, the Skyline chili. If you have it a 3-way or a 5-way, you do want it on spaghetti. I do serve it as a chili dog often, but
I still have nightmares from a 5-way I had in Cincinnati.
With Marge Schott, by the way. All right. So I've already said that we won't do the playoffs at the moment, but we've gone through the ranking. I guess we've done all 3 divisions, so we might as well follow it logically forward. I have the Padres and the Braves in the wild card game, so let's go through that. What do you have in terms of the National League playoffs, Melissa? Starting with the wild card game and through the league championship series, and we'll do World Series at the end.
Oh my God, I'm not prepared for that. That's going to take more math and comparison.
Do you want to just base it on the teams that you think might be the best, or do you want to do some more math?
That is a ridiculous question to ask.
Okay, that is a preposterous question. Would you like to crunch the numbers, and I will. I'll let Sal go first.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Melissa,
Okay,
do some
and then I'll
numbers.
go, and then I'll have you go last because you're
Let's
the
see.
girl.
Well,
No, I'll have you go last so that you can do the numbers. That's why. All right. So what do you have, Sal?
Well, I have the Braves finishing first. I have the Cardinals finishing first. I like the Padres and our New York Mets to be in the playoff game, the wild card game. Gee, I'm going to have to go with the Padres on that. As a Met fan, I think they can make the playoffs, but I just don't think they have the stones, so to speak.
Yeah, look, I get that. So you have the wild card game that they were in 2016 did not go well because they wanted to help Madison Bumgarner keep his pitch count low. So well done, good job. Don't bunt at anything. Don't try and make it work.
Don't try and win.
Yeah, don't try and win. So then you have the Padres, and I'll let you figure out what your seating is. I was about to do it, but let's see. So Daniel wants to know, you don't have DeGrom winning the wild card game. I mean, you'd have to line it up so that he can pitch that game.
They could lose that game 3-2.
Yeah, I mean that's I mean
DeGrom could go 8, give up 1 run. They'll bring in Edwin Diaz, and the show's over. So
they'll lose by 7. Yeah. All right. So what's your seeding for the National League playoffs?
Well, I would say Dodgers number 1, Braves number 2, Cardinals number 3, and Padres number 4. So we're going to see a Dodger-Padres series, I would think, which will be great for baseball. Dodgers will take that. We'll see a Braves-Cardinals series. Cardinals will take that, I believe. I don't think Freddie Freeman's going to win the MVP again.
No.
The Braves have some great players.
Sure, they do.
I don't think they've got the pitching. I just don't think they do. In other words, who's the Braves closer? Who's the Braves number 1 starter?
Chief Nakahoma, I believe, is their closer. Yeah, he's. They can't use him as a mascot, so they signed him to close out games. Chief Nakahoma. We have some similarities in there. I would see because I have the Padres winning the wild card game, but I have them winning it against the Braves. So I have them matched up against the Dodgers and then exiting in that round against the Dodgers. That's, again, a little bit of a no-brainer. And then Mets and Cardinals doesn't usually go the way that I want it to, but glutton for punishment, I'm going to go ahead and pick the Mets to beat the Cardinals. However, I will not pick the Mets to beat the Dodgers, and I would have the Dodgers beat the Mets in the year 2021. If this was the year 2006, I would not, and I would be right. But I don't see it. I think that I think it would be pretty tight. I think that this depends on what happens with the Mets pitching throughout the year, but I don't see them beating the Dodgers. So I would see the Dodgers returning to the Fall Classic. Melissa, how are you doing in terms of tabulating your National League playoffs at this point? Is it it's Dodger Stadium should serve spaghetti, says Dominicus Saxon. In honor of Tommy Lasorda, they should certainly serve spaghetti there.
They should serve ziti.
Yeah, that's true.
And roasted peppers.
Yeah. All right. So, Melissa, what have you got for your National League playoffs?
Stress.
That sounds about right.
Give me 1 second. I'm double checking. So that would be Oh my God, this is a terrible idea.
Live math or your stats in general?
Well, it's always a good point to let
stats.
people know that this segment of the show is brought to you by Old Style. Hey, you can get it in a can now.
Stressful. Okay.
Melissa, why don't you drop by the bar after the game?
This is terrifying. Okay.
Wait, sorry. This is an important question, Larry. Never been to Dodger Stadium. Are the Dodger Dogs as bad as people say? Yes, the Dodger Dogs are awful. However,
my husband would disagree.
The all beef Dodger Dog is fantastic.
Yes.
But the standard Dodger Dog, is disgusting. It's every bit as
edible.
It's every bit as limp as you would think it would be. And
don't they have Nathan's hot dogs at Yankee Stadium?
I don't know. I actually have never been to the new Yankee Stadium, which is now like 12 years old. I've never been to that stadium, so I don't know what they serve there. I know at Citi Field they serve Nathan's. And back
Larry,
in the day,
what about Larry? Weigh in on Philly Franks if you're out there.
Yeah, it's a good question. So I think that the super, I think that's the super Dodger Dog is the all beef. It's an extra $1. It's an extra $1, and it is well worth it. I mean, I think that Larry's all beef got it. But let us know about the Philly Franks. The Fenway Franks also not very good. They're basically served on like stale white bread. I was not impressed by those. But
Boston and food don't exactly go together.
I'm trying to think of the example that disproves that, and I guess unless you get some New England clam chowder while you're there at the ball game.
A 3-course meal at Fenway Park is 2 handfuls of peanuts in them.
We lost you. We lost you at the punchline of your joke. You said a 3-course meal is 2 handfuls of peanuts, and then you blipped out.
And a beer.
Yeah, 2 handfuls of peanuts and a pitcher of Sam Adams Summer Ale. I agree with you on that. All right, Melissa, let's let Melissa crunch the numbers on the National League playoffs.
Yeah. Okay. So in the wild card, I have Padres beating the Braves. They will go on to play the Marlins. The Marlins will win. The Giants and the Reds will play, and the Reds will win. And let's see, Marlins and Reds. This is my last calculation. Oh, it's close. We've got a 4 and a 3.92. Well, I guess we're going to have to go with the Marlins.
Your dog is like, wait a minute. So we're talking about the Reds and the Giants in the National League playoffs.
Oh, he just laid down. He doesn't care.
Okay, good.
No, he's up again. Okay.
So who's advancing to the World Series in your National League bracket, Melissa?
That would be Marlins beating the Reds.
I mean, for fans of the American League team, that would be amazing because they would be able to attend World Series games fairly cheaply and then be able to hit South Beach afterwards. Larry says Hatfield Philly Franks are perfectly good hot dogs, no complaints. I have had them. They are pretty good. In Baltimore, I remember they used to serve, I don't know if they still serve SK, but those were very plump, and I enjoy those. So those are good dogs.
What about the cheesesteaks at Liberty Financial, whatever they call it down in
Citizens Bank Park?
Citizens Bank Park. I've had the crab fries there, Chicky and Pete's, but I didn't get a cheesesteak there.
You got crab fries in Philadelphia?
It's close enough to Baltimore.
No, it's different.
It's just salt.
You just put Old Bay on it. How can it be?
You just put Old Bay seasoning on your fries. It's fine.
I can buy Old Bay at Vons.
Yeah. We have it right there. Yeah. It's delicious.
And Dominica Saxon says the only dogs I eat are Hebrew National, and that's because they answer to a higher authority. So that says that what they always told us.
How do you get Hebrew National in Idaho, for Christ's sake?
Sell them at the supermarket. I mean, you can get them. You can get them at Costco.
I drove through Idaho. I would double the Jewish population.
I don't think that's wrong. Let's see. And apparently they sell Chicky and Pete's at the Viking Stadium.
Interesting.
Chicky and Pete's is an institution. Look, you don't got to convince me. I enjoyed it. It was something that my wife and I talked about for a while. And Dominicus Saxon has a dog guy. He brings he runs hot dogs into the state. So that actually
hot dogs out of the trunk of his car.
Yeah. They fell off the back of the Safeway truck. Give you a deal on them. All right. So let's see. I have the Dodgers going to the World Series. I believe Melissa has the Washington Generals going to the World Series. And David, what did you pick? Do you have the Dodgers or do you have the Braves?
Yes, I have the Dodgers. Yes.
Yeah, you have the Dodgers. All right. So this is a very Daniel Beck friendly segment. We have 2/3 friendly, and he's gotten some good laughs out of. But we all appreciate the dedication that Melissa puts in. All right, let's talk about the American League, and we'll go in the same order of divisions that we did. We'll go with the American League East. And Melissa, I keep trying to let you go first, but there's always math going on, and then there seem to be some dog attacks going on at the same time from Laszlo. So what do you think when you, Melissa, look at the American League East?
Well, this is going to be everybody's pick. I can just sense it.
The Orioles.
Yeah.
Melissa is consistent in her madness.
Because I've learned, I'm like, well, what's the least likely team to pick? Oh, it's definitely the Orioles.
Yeah, I can just see Matt Harvey pitching the second game of the World Series.
He is
throwing a shutout.
Disgusting.
All right. So this is based on your index, or is it the sales of SK hot dogs as referenced earlier?
So it's based on the index, and that would be tied for first in their division with the Red Sox, but after a tiebreaker, they are ever so slightly ahead, like less than 0.2 ahead of the Red Sox. So based on the science that I've created and refuse to ignore, the Orioles will win the division.
So where do you have the Yankees in that division?
Yeah, where are the Yankees in here? That's a great question. So
where are the Yankees? Okay, so
and what about the Buffalo Blue Jays? Where I assume they're playing in Buffalo again because they can't possibly play in Toronto.
Blue Jays, Rays, and Yankees don't even make the list because their total number of spring training balks is 0. And for all you math people out there, you know anything divided by 0 is undefined. The teams are undefined.
And yet your picks are so well defined.
You're undefined.
Laszlo agrees with me. Look how much he loves my picks.
I'm sure he does. I have pretty strong feelings against the New York Yankees as a personal standpoint, but
so they're undefined to you.
But they're fairly well defined in that it's not much of a roll of the dice to pick them to win the division, and I see the Buffalo Syracuse Blue Jays somehow winning enough games to finish ahead of Melissa's Rays. What do you think when you look at the AL East, Sal?
I'm looking Yankees, and then I'm looking at a whole lot of nothing.
I think that's probably accurate.
You got the Red Sox. I mean, they've given away everybody except Kevin Martinez.
Yeah.
You got the Blue Jays, who are probably going to finish second. They've got some really great young talent. They need pitching. I mean, they're going to finish probably about 5 games over 500. And then Tampa Bay gave away their best pitcher. I think that, the Moneyball thing, the concept, it works, but it doesn't win championships.
No, I mean the book and movie Moneyball says it all. It's like you see it work, your team gets really good, but your movie culminates with them having a 20-game win streak not even advancing to the second round of the playoffs because it works. It'll win you games, but it doesn't win you championships.
And it wins you the press conference because you can sit there and say, look what we did. We spent $14.88 and we made it to the playoffs.
Yeah. Well, and then, it's also like when you would get partial credit for showing your work on tests, it's like, you showed your work. So we're going to round up a little bit.
Yeah. Right.
So, I agree with that. I think that the Yankees show no lack of willingness to continue to throw money at any problems that develop during the year. So I'm not that worried about it. Let's deviate for this hot take from Larry. The cheesesteaks are great, but a Philly secret is that they're pretty much good everywhere. I've never been able to tell much of a difference. Now that might get you kicked out of the city of brotherly love.
What is your go-to cheesesteak, Larry? If there was one cheesesteak left for you to eat, and then you would leave this planet, where would you eat?
Would it be Jim's Steaks? Would it be Gino's? Would it be Pat's? Would it be somewhere that we've never heard of? Just let us know. All right. So, Sal, I'm going to let you go first for the AL West. What are your thoughts for the American League West?
I'm sorry, Christian. You froze. Are you talking to me?
Yes, I would like your picks for the American League West.
That is a nasty division. I'm going to say Oakland because of Moneyball, and the rest, throw them up in the air, and whichever way they land on the floor, that's probably the way they're going to finish.
That's fair. Coming
out of the American League West.
This is a great answer from Larry to your question. The cheesesteak closest to my house is the one that he would get. So, And look, I mean, I had much like Sal is a distinguished alumni of Penn. I had a friend who went there, and when I went to visit her, we just got cheesesteaks from a little cart, just a street cart. And I'm like, oh, this is amazing. So they are always good, but there are definitely your hierarchy. And for those of us who make a special trip there, we probably should do more than eat at Pat's, but it's so close to.
You can do so much better. Pat's and Gino's are like the tourist trap cheesesteaks.
Well, look at this, though. Provolone, easy on the onions. Cheese Whiz is for dummies. Larry, I knew I liked you.
Yes, provolone.
When Sal and I eat at Philly's Best in beautiful Burbank, California, I always go provolone. I do hold the onions. That's just me.
No.
Not the one in Burbank.
Oh, good.
No.
Don't talk like that.
No.
No, we won't have Sal and I won't have anywhere to eat lunch anymore because, as we already established, he can't eat at Gus's fried chicken anymore.
I'll hold that over my head just because.
I am.
Just because I don't want to spend the afternoon on the toilet.
I mean, why would that afternoon be different than any other afternoon?
This is really the lovely.
Yeah, Pat's and Gino's are for tourists. Look, I keep making the point about Pat's. It's really close to the stadium. It's right there, so that's why I go there.
I'm sure that there's any number of. South, if you just get off the Philadelphia, what is it, the Market Frankfurt line that goes to the stadium? I don't know. I don't take mass transit. I drive a car when I go to the stadium. What, in Philly? In Philly? Of course. Subway. But if you got off one stop.
Crazy? You think I'm going to take my family on the subway in Philadelphia? No, thank you.
Oh, please. It's not the New York City subway. It's like the monorail at Disneyland. You picked the A's. Yes. That's a great pick. I love the A's. What do you think, Melissa?
The A's.
There's agreement.
There is. This is brand new.
And I didn't crunch anything.
Yeah. Except for a nice bag of Wise cheese doodles from Philly's Best. But yeah, I think that, look, in all likelihood, the Astros will probably win again. But my official pick is going to continue to be the A's. And look at this. This is the one division we've all agreed on, maybe for very different reasons.
Crazy.
But what do your statistics tell you about the A's leading this division?
Well, oh my God, Laszlo, you are insane.
That's all right. While you look that up, we'll tidy up. Sorry. Larry says Market Frankfurt is east-west. The Broad Street line is for the stadiums. And Daniel Beck says anyone but the cheating Astros. And he's used asterisks for the Astros because we know that is a bad word.
There was a message from Larry about he was correcting my subway. Can we go back?
I just said, maybe you fritzed out when I showed it, but yes, we did show that.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, the Broad Street line. Yeah. Okay, so Melissa, what are your statistics tell you that have the A's winning the AL West?
I did mention that the calculation was for what I was putting it based on 2020, finished in first place. It would be greater than 3.5, but less than 19. And this year, based on spring training alone, the A's, their Melissa Wine Index is 13, which, I mean, is just beautiful. It's just right there. So based on that alone, and that would be based on the fact that they have 13 sac flies, 0 bunts. So 13 plus 0 would be 13. And 1 balk. 13 divided by 1 is 13. So their Melissa Wine Index for spring training is 13. But if we go back and look at it for last year, because I did in fact calculate it, it was 19. So, and they were first in the division last year. So they are the reason that we have that high end on the two ends of the spectrum.
Melissa, we're going to make you show your work on screen.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true. There is a share screen function where we can do that.
I've got my spreadsheet up.
We can get a PowerPoint presentation.
Absolutely.
All right, let's move it to the American League Central. I have always had a soft spot for the Twinkies, and I will continue to have a soft spot for the Twinkies, even when it is perhaps undeservedly so. I do think that will be a good team this season, and I've got the White Sox finishing second, which is relevant as we advance along. Sal, what do you have for the AL Central?
Well, those are the two teams I have. I have them in the reverse order. I believe the Pale Hose have arrived, and I believe they will take that division with the Twinkies finishing a close second.
All right. So, Melissa, what do we have for
the White Sox?
Oh, look at you.
And that would be because all of the other teams, all the other 4, oh my God, are all undefined because of zeros. He's sitting on my headphones. Laszlo, this hurts.
Laszlo. Let's see. Larry says the Twinkies' role is to be the Washington Generals to the Yankees every year in the playoffs. It is not wrong. It is definitely not wrong.
No.
And until they prove otherwise, that is the case. All right. So let's follow through. I'll have you go first, Sal.
Yeah.
Your playoff matchup and leading to the World Series, but don't actually pick your World Series winner. We'll do that last. So go all the way through the League Championship Series, please.
So the wild card will be the Minnesota Twins, probably. And I would say whomever finishes second to the Yankees, I'm going to say Toronto, just because it's I think it's a very weak wild card field in the American League. So Twins, Blue Jays, I would pick the Twins. And then let's see. So Yankees, White Sox, Oakland. Probably Oakland will play the Twins. And I like Oakland. The White Sox will play the Yankees.
Yeah.
I like the Yankees. And then the Yankees would play Oakland, and I like the Yankees.
Yeah. So I've got, let's see, let me follow it through. So I've got the Yankees, I've got Oakland, and I've got the Twins. So for the wild card, I've got the White Sox and the Blue Jays. I've got the White Sox beating the Blue Jays, losing to the Yankees. I've got the Twins beating the A's, but once again, the Twins losing to the Yankees. The Yankees advance to the World Series. Now, Melissa, what do you have for the American League playoffs?
So, wild card, I have Red Sox versus Astros, God, that's a terrible decision. And
Listen, it's the decision. You're following the numbers. What's up, Jay?
Hey, there's Jay. I see him back
they
there.
say hi to you. They can see you. He's waving
No,
now.
he's hiding. He's like, wait, I'm not camera ready. I'm
He
not
took
ready for
Laszlo
my
'cause-
close-up, Mr. DeVille.
Laszlo was causing some distractions, believe it or not. Okay, Red Sox, Astros. Let's see. Where is the number? Okay, then that's going to be the Astros. Red Sox, Astros is going to be Astros. Okay, and then I already wrote that. Wow, I'm so much trouble. Okay, White Sox are going to play the Orioles, and that's going to be the White Sox. Big surprise. And then the Astros are going to play the Rays, and that's going to be terrible idea. Astros.
Love the
And
editorial.
then Astros, White Sox, and that's going to be la, 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 la. You're welcome for the singing. That's going to be White Sox. Okay, so I guess we have a White Sox Marlins World Series, which seems totally normal.
Yeah, there's nothing out of the ordinary there. Well, we'll start with you, Melissa,
That is
because you're
Boston's
finished.
dream layout, right?
So, who becomes our 2021 World Series champ? Is it the Miami Marlins, or is it the Chicago White Sox, the Chicago Garbage Salads?
The garbage salad. Gene and Georgette.
10-4. Hold on.
10-4.
No, I'm reading numbers.
Just a quick comment from Dominica Saxon. Speaking of cheesesteaks, the Subway at the corner of Juniper and Commerce doesn't mean one.
I'd rather lick the sidewalk than eat a Subway cheese.
Well, I think that their bread is made from old tires, unless I'm
That's
mistaken.
disgusting.
Uvula also says, could you just change the denominator to box plus one? No, that's way less fun than
The
this.
square root
That
of
would be like the Melissa Wine plus one index, and that's just a mouthful. Okay, so based on that, White Sox versus Marlins, the Marlins will win. So, totally likely.
And Sal, I think we have the same World Series, right? You have the Yankees versus the Dodgers.
I have the Yankees versus the Dodgers.
And who's your champ?
I have the Dodgers repeating, Christian.
Ugh.
I think they're loaded. I think that they've gotten over the hump. They've gotten the monkey off their back. They know how to win the big one, and they'll win it again. For Tommy.
I believe that the Dodgers will repeat because there is a very specific scenario. This World Series will go 7. Aroldis Chapman will pitch 2 innings. He'll pitch the 8th, and he'll cough it up in the 9th, and the Dodgers will win. If history, if we don't learn from history, it is doomed to repeat itself. And the Yankees are doomed to continue repeating the same mistakes they always make. And Aroldis Chapman, it's uncanny how hard that guy throws. But when you ask somebody to do something out of the ordinary, it doesn't always go the way you want it to. Mariano Rivera was, exceptional in that role. But even he in 2001 could not be counted on to go a little further than he was accustomed to. So so we've both got the Dodgers. Daniel, if you haven't had to leave for work yet, there you go. And of course, Melissa has the Marlins. So
of course.
So that's good news for Derek Jeter. And finally, Larry says, honestly, the real Philly sandwich is roast pork, provolone, and broccoli rabe. What? If broccoli rabe is too strong for you, spinach is well, I want that sandwich. Where should I get it? Larry, Salman, where should I be getting that sandwich?
John's at the Reading Terminal Market, right?
Beautiful. And Daniel's excited that he's stuck with us all this time and has a yay. I think he doesn't take Melissa's Marlins pick very seriously. I don't think
is ridiculous. He only doesn't take it seriously because he's a Dodgers fan. Obviously, that's why he's not giving me the credit I deserve.
Yeah. Yeah, that is absolutely correct. Well, this is always fun to do, and I love the new sabermetrics that you've brought to this conversation. And honestly, I could do the sandwich talk for another hour. I'm enjoying it. But so thanks to Larry in there, and I do think that. Since he's stuck with us the whole show, I do think that the Phillies have a lot of great players on their team. I do think that they're going to be very good this year. What's that?
Name a Philly.
Aaron Nola.
Too late.
I said
Bryce Harper.
Yeah, thank you, Bryce Harper. Thank you, Melissa.
Bryce Harper could win the MVP, and the Phillies could finish third.
Also. The only person in a Phillies uniform who matters, the Philly fanatic. He's the only one who matters. You can't. There's no debating that.
Oh no, close second would be the guy whose office is in the right field corner.
I don't know who that is.
I
don't.
Is that in Philadelphia?
Yeah, they during one of the games the last 2 or 3 years. The Mets finally realized that there's a little window in the outfield wall. I think it's just to the right of the foul line.
Okay.
And they were like just shocked that there was an office in there, and they spent all this time trying to investigate whose office it was. I think that person, whoever that person is, while doesn't wear a uniform, is the second best.
Maybe you should find a way to work that into your sabermetrics.
Yeah,
but that would only be valid for the Phillies. Not everyone has a super cool foul line.
Here's the thing: if the Phillies end up in the playoffs, you'll have to consider it when we resume at the end of September. So Larry says, "Yep, Reading Terminal Market is good. So is John's Roast Pork near Delaware Ave. Happy to help." He does point out Harper and Real Muto, but Harper was kind of the big one. There we go. All right. So this is always fun to do. And Melissa, you always keep it interesting. You always keep it fun. And I think you're not going to be able to make the trip to Dodger Stadium to see the Mets this year, right? Because you're actually finally having your wedding and it's that weekend.
Hopefully. It's the weekend after. But seeing as none of the things that were supposed to happen right before the wedding the last 2 times need to happen this time, I'll already be gone. Probably. Okay.
Well, then I hope we don't see you, but maybe we'll find out when they're going to be playing the Padres. You know?
That would be great.
No, I know when they're playing the Padres. It's in June.
Oh, all right.
Maybe Laszlo will have his first trip to the beach because, we don't live close enough here, and I refuse to.
No, just go down to the beach. Yeah. Bark at the park.
At the park.
He would love it.
All right. So, Melissa, if people want to get more information about the Melissa Wine Index, they should just go to @MelissaWine on Twitter, correct?
Yeah. I tweet 700 times a day, regularly, only about that.
Yeah. And you'll share your cheese eating during the season. As usual, Dominica Saxon tells us that we're great. See you next time. I don't even think Dominica Saxon's a baseball fan, but I appreciate him sticking with us. And Sal, where do people find you?
They find me right there. Here. There we go.
Here, there, and everywhere.
I tweet early and often.
It's true. Just like voting in Chicago, @DWise Comedy. And you can find me @ChristianDMZ. That's Twitter. That's Instagram. And that's basically it. You can also like the Bladtcast on Facebook, BLADTCAST, Bladtcast.com. And don't forget, if you're listening to the audio version of the podcast, you missed out on so much of the fun. And you can almost always catch a video version of our episodes at the Bladtcast YouTube channel, including our recent recap of the 4 hour and 2 minute Snyder cut of Justice League.
Yeah,
so definitely check out our comments on that. We'll be back very soon talking about Kong versus Godzilla. And who knows what else will be coming in the near future. So go to the Bladtcast YouTube channel. As always, BLADTCAST. Thank you to Melissa. Thank you to David, a.k.a. Salman. And thanks to all of you. We will see you next time on the Bladtcast.